What if I told you that there's a powerful mindset that can help you get through your toughest days? Look, we all go through rough times, but what I'm about to share with you will forever change how you deal with life's challenges and setbacks. Stay till the end because this video can help you live life on a whole new level. Let's get started. Have you ever felt like the universe was conspiring against you and you just wanted to give up? Well, there's an ancient philosophy from the Stoics called Amor Fati, and it essentially means love of your fate, or in other words, embracing whatever cards you're dealt in life, even the difficult ones. Sounds crazy, right? Trying to love getting dumped or fired or having a major accident? But stick with me here. See, the Stoics believed that wishing for an easier life was pointless. Bad things are going to happen no matter what. The key is how you respond to those setbacks. Do you crumble and feel like a victim, or do you say, "I've got this," and charge forward, making the most of the situation? Adopting an Amor Fati mindset is all about the latter. It's about accepting the hand you're dealt, not wasting energy resenting or fighting against it, and then using it as fuel to grow stronger and wiser. If you're short, you're happy that you're short. If you're tall, you're happy that you're tall. It can be as simple as that. This is what the idea of Amor Fati is. But some of the most successful people throughout history have used this same simple philosophy to rise over massive adversity in life. To really drive this mindset home, let me share a powerful example of one of America's most famous inventors embracing Amor Fati amidst a devastating circumstance. Imagine you're Thomas Edison, working tirelessly for years to build your factory and life's work. Then one night, over dinner with your family, an employee bursts in shouting, "The factory is on fire! The factory is on fire!" You race over to witness bright orange flames engulfing decades of your hard work. At that moment, most people would collapse into anguish and despair, right? But not Edison. He turns to his son and says, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." Some people thought Edison gone crazy, but he then went on to repeat a line from Kipling's poem. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. So, what Edison was realizing is that some things are just out of our control. No amount of tears is going to affect them, but we can control how we respond. And he didn't stop there. The next day, brushing off the disaster, he tells a reporter, "I've been through stuff like this before. It prevents an old man from getting bored." Within 6 weeks, he had secured $1 million loan and his factory was partially rebuilt and operating again. Just 6 months later, it was fully restored. You might be thinking, there's no way I could react like Thomas Edison if my life's work went up in flames. How do you even get to that level of acceptance and resilience? The answer is, it all starts with changing your mindset toward the little daily frustrations we all face. Because if you can't embrace and make the most of those small, challenging moments, you'll never be prepared to powerfully tackle major life upheavals when they occur. At its heart, Amor Fati is about accepting whatever circumstances come your way without complaints or feeling like a victim. For example, if it unexpectedly starts pouring rain right before you have to run some errands, your initial instinct might be an annoyance. But with Amor Fati, you catch yourself and choose to embrace the rain instead of resenting it. You tell yourself, the rain is refreshing and needed. I'll make the most of this situation. It's about accepting whatever external circumstances you didn't consciously choose, because fighting them only leads to inner stress and negativity. It's about flipping the negative script in your head. Rather than thinking, "Why does this always happen to me?" you reframe it as, "Okay, this happened, now I can use it as an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser." Like the classic metaphor, the same fire that melts the butter also hardens the egg. Which one are you choosing to be when faced with a challenge? The one who melts and depletes, or hardens and becomes solidified by the experience? At the beginning of the video, I promised to give you some simple tips on how you can daily practice Amor Fati. Well, the first thing you can do is: Number 1. Purposely expose yourself to the thing you averse. Sometimes the things we fear or dislike aren't as bad as we imagine them to be. We often dread certain situations or circumstances because society tells us they are terrible. For example, many people fear poverty and wonder how they could possibly survive without luxuries like a big house, a nice car, frequent vacations, and dining out regularly. However, the key to reducing our fear of these perceived negative outcomes is to actually expose ourselves to them. By experiencing the things we dread, we may find that they aren't as bad as we thought. This way, we become familiar with hardship and better prepared for it. So, if you fear poverty, try living like a poor person for a while. You might discover that being poor isn't as terrible as you imagined. Another common fear is the fear of being single and alone. To confront this fear, you could choose to stay single for a period and learn to find happiness within yourself, rather than relying on a relationship. Once you realize that being single can be great, you'll no longer fear it, even when you're in a relationship. This can also help prevent you from staying in an abusive relationship out of fear of being alone. Number 2. Embrace changes as opportunity. Looking back on my life, I can say that many of the things I feared actually happened, like lost jobs, ended relationships, and missed opportunities. However, life always seems to balance itself out by providing new things in return. The philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." Although we fear losing our jobs, marriages, or money, new situations, no matter how dreadful they seem, always have new opportunities hidden within them. As Marcus Aurelius stated, we should maintain constant awareness that everything is born from change. Nature loves to alter what exists and make new things from it. Everything that exists is the seed of what will emerge from it next. Number 3. Realize that happiness is relative. In 1978, there was a study that looked at whether happiness is relative. The researchers studied a group of lottery winners, a group of paralyzed accident victims, and a control group. As expected, the lottery winners were much happier than the paralyzed victims and the control group in the first few weeks. However, 1 year later, the lottery winners and control group reported similar levels of happiness, and were only slightly happier than the paralyzed victims. This shows that happiness is relative, so why should we fear the future? The time and energy we spend worrying about the future is likely worse than the future itself. So, no matter what tragedy happens, we know that the new circumstances don't exclude a sense of happiness and well-being. In fact, we might unexpectedly feel even better than before in the face of hardship. Number 4. Be present. Everything we talked about so far all have one thing in common. They show that no matter what happens, we will cope with the new circumstances. The belief that we need certain external things associated with our current situation to be happy is an illusion. Happiness as well as unhappiness is relative. The future is simply another path, neither good nor bad, unless our mind makes it so. In truth, there is no future or past, there is only now. When fate arrives, it comes in the present moment. That's why embracing fate can only be done by being present. So why worry about the future before it has even arrived? And when it does arrive, love it while it's here, because if you don't, you may regret not enjoying that moment when it was right in front of you. The art of Amor Fati is embracing whatever happens, not needing anything beyond the present day. As the philosopher Seneca wrote about Epicurus, who, despite being tortured by painful diseases, said, "Today and one other day have been the happiest of all." Like and subscribe for more uplifting content. See you in the next video.